it was just interesting how impressionable Classic WoW was, or Vanilla WoW was, for me. Because, like I said, ever since I picked it up in third grade, I never looked back. I really have never played any other game except World of Warcraft.
Jaman, yeah, Jaman. I hope you like a Jaman too.
Welcome, one and all, to JhamanCast. This podcast is dedicated to celebrating video games and delivering video game interviews. I adore video games and love sharing that every week. Stick around, I think you'll have a good time. This week's interview is with another World of Warcraft YouTuber, streamer. It's been a couple of those, been a lot of those. But he's been doing the hardcore challenge alongside myself and a few others, and it was a pleasure getting to know him a bit better by sitting down and chatting for about an hour. So I hope you enjoy this interview with GraysforDays. Before we get to all that, I want to inform you of a few ways you can elevate your show experience. You can join in, be a part of this show. I have a phone number you can call. It's 949-407-9198. That's 949-407-9198. Of course, you got to be in the U.S. to call that number, or you're going to get some long-distance rates. But you can call in, leave a message. I have a Discord if you want to chat with me or other fans of the show. I'll put it in the show's description so you can join easily. And also, you can follow me on Twitter, at JhamanTheShaman. And I'm also on Twitch, at twitch.tv/Jaman, where we do these interviews live. So if you want to watch them live and see the VODs, they're all there. But with all that out of the way, let's get this podcast started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another JhamanCast interview. I'm joined today by a YouTuber, a Twitch streamer, a person of great interest. He's part of the World of Warcraft community. He's part of the hardcore Classic WoW community. He's making videos. He's making content. GraysforDays, baby. How are you doing, man? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, man. Thanks for the introduction. Like you said, I'm a part of the hardcore community, and I've really... Funny thing is, me and Jaman, we haven't formally spoken yet, but as soon as we got on the call today for this podcast, I told him, I said, dude, I feel like I know you already because we've been both streaming the hardcore challenge. We're hopping into each other's Twitch channels, and it's not just me and Jaman. I mean, I'm hopping into everybody else's Twitch channels, and it's crazy. You know, maybe before we get into this, we'll dive into it deeper into the podcast.
Yeah.
For the first time, I'm interacting with Twitch streamers that have 1, 2, 3, 4 viewers, and my list is like 20 people long in a week because of this hardcore challenge. So we're seeing a shift in gaming and Twitch streaming and the Classic WoW community. Absolutely nuts. I'd love to get into that later.
Absolutely, we will.
Yeah, John.
Yeah, we for sure we will. But we got to start off with the first question. It's the first question I've asked everybody, and any listener to the show will know this question. But what is the first game that you ever played that left an impression on you?
The first game that left an impression on me. I may not have a straight answer. Let me fill you in.
Yeah.
I've got 2 siblings. I'm the youngest of 3, and I was born in 1996. So my oldest brother is 6 years older than me. Check this out. I got the high roll, man. I lucked out. I had an older brother 6 years further down the line. So when I was 5, 6, 7 years old, I had the PlayStation 1, and I was playing PS1 games. I remember specifically PlayStation 2. That was the first console that I really played as a child. And like I said, the fact that I had an older brother introduce me to these games, some of the first impressionable games, whenever I think about it, it all comes from the PlayStation 2, the best gaming console to have ever been created. In my experience, man. I'm talking SSX3, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, the Spyro series. That was pretty sweet.
Now I want to ask, before we go to, did you watch these games being played, or did you play them yourselves? Like, both. I mean, you played it, but for like when I think of my first impressionable video game, I actually think of the game, my brother playing it and me watching him, and I'm like, oh, like games are cool.
You know what? I think a lot of people had that, especially if they're the younger sibling. My brother, fortunately, let me play a lot of the games. I remember playing these games. I watched him play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 hours on end, right? And especially because I was 6 years younger than him. He was probably 14, 15 at the time, just getting into high school, and I'm a first, second, third grader. And so, yeah, I played these games, obviously not on the level that he could, but these sandboxy games. So some of the games I really got connected to were the games like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, SSX3, the ones where you have a single character and you build up his stats, right? At each level that you get to put in the stat points and you feel a little bit more powerful. The SSX3 series, I love that game. And I was the kid, he was a little teenager punk, like the one I feel like I could relate to the most, and this is in PS2 gaming. Probably the first time I'd played a game where I really felt like I was the main character and I could choose between 9, 10, 12 different characters. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 kind of had the same thing. You build your guy. And so I really got, I guess, hooked onto this game style of progressing your character. I really liked the character's progression. And so this is important because I played all the PS2 games that my brother played. This is where my gaming career took a turn. In 3rd grade, I'm in 3rd grade. My brother's a freshman.
I love how you said your gaming career took a turn in 3rd grade.
My gaming career in 3rd grade. No, it's nuts too. Especially like you got to think about the timing. It's 2005. I'm a 9-year-old kid. Unless you have a brother that's 6 years older than you, you didn't get introduced to video games like I did. So my brother goes and hangs out with my uncle one summer, the summer of 2005, and he comes back and he tells my mom, "Hey, I need to get this game so I can play with Uncle Jed online. It's called World of Warcraft." Right?
Okay.
I played it the last 2 weeks.
I understand now. Okay. Your gaming career did change that year. Okay.
Yeah, so my brother comes home, man, and as soon as he comes in, I'm playing PS2. I'm playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, Gran Turismo, all the games to myself, right? And I've had the PS2 for the last 2 weeks. So he comes in, I'm like, "Yeah, what's up, Jordan?" And he remembers walking by me kind of smug. He probably just came back from the store, put in World of Warcraft. It took 24 hours to download all the CDs or whatever. And I remember watching my brother for the first time log in. He was a Tauren Druid like my uncle. And he logged into Mulgore. And I remember standing behind him and he likes telling this story too. He said I kind of dropped the PS2 controller and like prep up behind his shoulder real slowly and just like had this I was just mesmerized, had this gaze. I'm watching my brother play World of Warcraft, right? And the grandiose of the landscape and the setting that he was in, right? In Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, you only have one little zone and you go to the next levels. SSX3 was the same way, right? And people talk about how World of Warcraft was one of the first games to really, it's an MMORPG. It's a big sandbox. The first game that didn't have loading screens. It had this continuous flow. And so I kind of, right away, I recognized how big this world was and I was hooked. He didn't let me play WoW for like 2 weeks. And then I finally got to log in, make a character, and
was it a druid?
The rest was history.
Was it the third druid?
It was. And so yes, the hardcore challenge has been pulling my heartstrings, man. It's tested my limits. But yeah, I actually rolled a Tauren Druid like my brother, and then as a kid, right? I'm a 9-year-old, and in SSX3, I picked the punk little teenage kid instead of the adults, and so I think the same thing was the case for my WoW character. I got a gnome warrior. The gnome class for some reason was the race I could relate with the most, and of all classes, I picked warrior. Don't ask me why. I had a rough time in WoW as a third, fourth, fifth grader.
Wow,
yeah.
Wow. You played in vanilla. Did you even play? You started in vanilla.
I did, man.
Okay.
I did, and I love to talk about this too. Ever since I picked up WoW, guys, PS2 went in the closet. I never picked it up again. My friends growing up, all in high school, they were playing Call of Duty. Everybody was on the Xbox 360. They're on, they got the headset. They're talking to each other. They're playing all day, every day. I'm sitting over here playing WoW by myself. Because, as a kid too, if you didn't have older brothers or sisters and you didn't really have a good computer, you just didn't end up playing WoW. I don't know. The accessibility to the game was very limited. And so it was just interesting how impressionable classic WoW was, or vanilla WoW was, for me. Because like I said, ever since I picked it up in 3rd grade, I never looked back. I really have never played any other game except World of Warcraft.
Wow.
It's kind of interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember playing, with friends in high school, Guitar Hero 3 and all the rock bands, and that was a big social experience. I mean, I played WoW near the end of my my high school career, I guess. I started playing. I don't know when I started playing, because I know I started playing at the end of Vanilla, but before Burning Crusade actually came out. But I never made it to like max level cap or anything before Burning Crusade.
Yeah. And I'll wrap up my WoW career as a kid. I'm telling you, and it's hysterical. I think about it, especially whenever Classic was coming out. You know, a lot of people were up in arms about certain things. Or I don't know when you started playing Jaman.
Mm-hmm.
I almost wear it as a badge of honor. This third grade kid playing in vanilla WoW, and I feel like I knew what was good. It sounds so pretentious, but it's really funny because I hit like level 44 in vanilla. I didn't hit level cap till Wrath of the Lich King because I just re-rolled characters over and over. But I remember the day that the maximum mount level requirement got reduced from level 40, and I think it was level 30 for like a pre-patch of an expansion, and then it went down to 20. But I think I had taken a break and come back in like Wrath, and it was reduced to level 20. Yeah. Maybe it was Cataclysm. And I remember being so upset, so pissed off. Like, are you serious, dude? I ran from level 20 to 40, hoofing it. This is a huge... Why doesn't everyone else have to go through what I had to go through, right? And so the level squish, everything. I really, as a kid, I remember getting this hardcore vanilla WoW mentality of like, you should have to go through what I went through. And so that was a funny thing.
The third grade, you don't understand the pain of my...
Right.
He's like in fourth grade, and he's like, yeah, you don't remember.
That's what I'm saying. I like... Vanilla WoW kind of made me grow up real fast, I feel like, in especially in the gaming world. Like, I didn't play with my friends. I didn't play with my buddies. They were doing little kid stuff, man, playing Call of Duty. I was doing bigger things.
Yeah.
Leveling a Gnome Warrior.
So now you're playing a druid, and I mean, you're going back to the roots apparently of your uncle, your brother, and you're playing a druid in classic. You're tanking, and you're raiding, and now you're doing hardcore. What led you to the druid choice this time for classic WoW for this iteration?
I had never played druid in vanilla, but for some reason both of my uncles, my brother, they all played druids, and druids could do everything that no one else could do. Druids could heal, they could tank, they could DPS, right? They have all these different forms. They're super versatile. You can stealth. Stealthing was huge. And my uncles used to like 2-man dungeons. And they talk about all these crazy adventures they had as this 2-man druid group. And so just the fact that druids are the jack of all trades, that was a big incentive. And I wanted to play them in vanilla. Also, I think personality goes into your class choice. I know that there was a bunch of YouTube videos, whenever vanilla WoW was popular, TBC, Wrath of the Lich King days, there's a couple stereotype videos. What does your class say about you, right? And I'll be honest, for some reason, it stays true to this day. Jaman, I look at you, I mean, if I didn't know you were playing a troll shaman, I don't know, man. You just scream troll shaman. Like, there's something about you, and it's probably because I've already got it set in the back of my head. But Cargos, he's a hunter. And it goes on and on and on. I don't know if you guys can relate or if anybody feels the same way, but I feel like personality goes into
I've been told that. WoW. I've been told that before, but also because like people think I smoke a lot, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you must play a shaman." I'm like, "Jeez, what the hell? Like, what do I look like, guy? Come on!" Like, you guys make a lot of judgment calls there from just a picture, okay, and a name.
Right, right. No, I mean, it's either a troll shaman or like a Tauren druid. I get a stigma too.
Yeah, I definitely saw that meme. It was like, if you're a druid or a shaman, you're a drug addict. Like, and you're like, like what? Like, okay, I guess. Yeah. I mean, I can see it, but also, come on, you don't know me.
Yeah, man. So for some reason, I chose to go Tauren druid in vanilla. Mm-hmm. Like, it was the dream class. Also, I wanted to off tank, in a raiding environment. I'd never raided until classic came out. So those were big incentives. Like, dude, being a bear tank, that sounds great. No one else does it, right? And so all these things I'm saying, catch on to it. Like, it fits my personality. And for lack of a better term, I really choose druid because I'm not a basic bitch. Like, I'm not, I never do anything that everyone else does. And basic bitches in World of Warcraft would be like a warrior or a mage, right? If you're one of those two classes, like, dude, you get a Starbucks espresso at coffee every morning. Like, I don't know. But also personality, I think, goes into my choice of druid. So I'm getting to off tank, main tank, and vanilla right now. It's unbelievable. Honestly, a dream come true that I got to join a guild that allowed me to off tank as a druid. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, like whenever you look in vanilla, I mean, druid is one of the least played classes in the game. That's another reason why I like playing druid.
Yeah, it's incredible because every druid tank I see, I'm like, oh, druid tanks are nice. Like every time I have a druid tank, I'm like, this guy's good. Like,
right?
And then
right?
I don't know why. It's just druid tanks seem to just be fine. And then some warrior tanks are great, and some warrior tanks are garbage. But you're just like, all right, like that's. I've never had a bad druid tank. I don't think. Since Classic came out, I've never had a bad druid tank.
I'll be honest. It's brain dead. It's a brain dead spec. You put Fairy Fire on cooldown, you maul and you swipe. You maul and you swipe. You maul.
So it's just really easy. Okay. Huh.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something, but it's really not that hard. I don't have any defensive cooldowns. I can't stance.
They don't have any, but I thought they had like Bark Skin or something. Is that Burning Crusade? They get Bark Skin for
No,
defensive
I
cooldown?
get Bark Skin, but it's trash. It converts your rage into health, and it's too slow.
Oh.
It's nothing compared to
that's
a
nothing.
warrior, dude.
Yeah, okay. I'm thinking of Burning Crusade and later because I think I tanked on a druid at some point during my World of Warcraft retail career, and they definitely had cooldowns eventually. That's why
I'll tell you,
shamans are garbage at tanking because they have 0 cooldowns.
Yeah. So regardless of them, some of their shortcomings, like we're 3 weeks into BWL, the first 2 weeks, I'll tell you one huge benefit of having a druid in our raid specifically was I got 3 pieces the first week and a Drakefang talisman the 4th week.
What?
And they gave it to me, dude. I got the chest, I got the bulwark, I got the belt, both off of Ebon Rock the first.
Oh,
week.
you're the tank. Okay, Drakefang talisman to a tank. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
In my head, I'm thinking I'm a shaman, and I'm like, dude, I want the Drakefang talisman. And everyone's like, hell no, you don't get the fucking Drakefang talisman. So I'm here, someone got it the first week. And I'm like, oh, he's a tank. Okay, reset your head. Reset your head. Okay.
Yeah, so then I got Boots of the Shadow Flame off Neff, and these are all leather pieces.
Yeah.
So those are 3 leather pieces. Granted, Drakefang Talisman, but those 3 leather pieces alone, they would have gone to our leather DPS. The first week, I had 3 out of 5 pieces out of Blackwing Lair that I need. I'm done. I'm geared. Didn't take any loot from the warriors. Didn't take any loot from the other tanks. Right.
Yeah.
And so that's one big benefit I've seen of having a druid.
Absolutely, yeah. You don't have to compete with the other warriors. But of course, dude, I don't know, because there's so much warrior gear just seems to drop, and all the warriors they're always like, no one needs it, and everyone's like, what the? So why is warrior gear dropping? You guys got all your gear ready? Everybody's got all their gear. Like, they just don't want to spend the DKP on tank gear. Usually is what. But yeah, that's really awesome though to hear it. That makes a lot of sense. Why a druid would be really useful. I mean, we have one. But we're not clearing Blackwing Lair yet. It's pretty awesome to hear though.
Yeah. I've had a lot of fun with it, and one thing I haven't done is in-game PvP. I don't do a lot of level 60 PvP. I never did in the past. I was more of a twink guy. 19 twinking. I did that back in Wrath of the Lich King. That's kind of a fun thing to revisit. But there's certain aspects of the game that I don't touch, like level 60 world PvP.
Wait, you don't want to just run flags all day? Because what else you're not supposed to fight if you're a druid in a battleground.
Yeah. As a druid, you're super slippery, right? And yeah, that's your role. I guess that would be fun. I don't know, man.
No, that's the reason I wouldn't want to PvP. Is that you're gonna make me run the flag constantly? Like that's all I get to do, and I don't even get to like kill. I'm not PvPing. I'm just running away from people. Like
right. I
want to kill people. That's why warriors are such like it's. I think they're all like into the PvP and mages too. Like they're so into PvP because they get to do something. And everybody else has to sit there and support them.
That might be part of it. I never knew why it never really stuck or why I had little interest in it, but it makes sense.
But that PvP gear is that's some nice gear though. Talk about nice. Yeah. So let's talk about the hardcore movement, because this is something we're both doing, and I think is really interesting for Classic WoW. Cargo's really is the herald of the hardcore mode. He's bringing it back. It's always been a thing. Like, just play a little harder version. Like, set your own rules. And so, for anyone listening that doesn't know what this is. Basically, the idea is you have one life. That's the basic idea. There's a couple more rules. Don't use the auction house, no trading. You can, and whatever. There's other rules, but the basic rule is if you die in the game in World of Warcraft, if you die, which is a game designed with the intention that you will die, and it does not punish you for it in the slightest, right? Like, what is it? EverQuest Online, you lost some XP. Some other MMOs, you would actually get something really detrimental, but in World of Warcraft, you just have to run back to your body. It's just time. It's fine. Hardcore mode says you die and you're gone. Your character is gone in the game. You can't play anymore. So honor rules. Delete your character. That's hardcore. And so, I can tell you why I gravitated towards it, but I'd rather hear from you. Why did you gravitate to this so quickly? Because we're both, I think, we basically say the same thing. But go ahead. What grabbed you about this hardcore mode?
Well, for one, I got to think about what I'm doing in the game right now. I was doing level 19 twink bracket. I've working on a 29 and a 39 twink bracket. I was multi-boxing some mages. We got through the first wave of Classic WoW. All the hype was there, dude. I was doing late night gaming sessions with Cargos, Murderer, thick meta TV, right? Super sweaty, staying up till 8 a.m., passing out, waking up at noon, and doing the same thing over again, right? Off stream, just super sweaty nerds, right? So that phase kind of left. BWL's right around the corner. I think BWL, did it launch before it all happened right about the same time. But other than BWL, I'm not really leveling up any other alts. I really like my druid character. So if it's not twinking or it's not raiding or I'm not, I guess, leveling a druid, right? I still want to go back and one more objective. Big goal of mine is to level through the zones extremely slowly. All my favorite class, on druid, read through the quest text, maybe document some of the adventures and just the weird NPC abilities or interactions that I see. That's one of the goal. But what else are we doing in Vanilla WoW right now? And so the hardcore challenge came around, and I truly believe that Vanilla WoW, it's an awesome game. It's this huge sandbox MMO, but if you don't have objectives in game, if you don't have an end goal, there's nothing there for you. If you're not working towards something, like if you've already level capped, if the server is a little seasoned, it's not brand new to everybody, it's hard to find that motivation, that drive, that objective that you're looking for. Hardcore challenge gave me a whole new world. I mean, it opened Pandora's box. It literally made every aspect of the game great again that wasn't great even with a fresh launch of Classic WoW. And I'll let you jump off of this, but this is one thing that I really love about the hardcore challenge is that it makes professions great again. And so you would think that professions would be relevant at the launch of Classic WoW, right? 15 years later, it's a brand new server. It's a new, fresh. All the crafting professions are going to be relevant again. I'm talking blacksmithing, leatherworking, tailoring's going to be sweet, leveling up. Like all these professions are going to be great. And that was the idea I had. I was making YouTube videos. I was making guide videos on base recipes for leatherworking, right? And I was really into that. And then Classic launched. Everybody got to 60 in a couple weeks. They didn't even bother with the base profession recipes. I mean, maybe you get some random world drop recipes in leatherworking, tailoring, blacksmithing that are super good, right? And those are useful. But leatherworking from skills 100 to 225 is useless. 100 to 150, blacksmithing's the same way. Completely useless. Why would you ever spend time leveling it up whenever you can just run into a dungeon, get way better gear? Why not just complete all the quests in the zone, get upgrades that way? The hardcore challenge, it makes the base profession recipes for leatherworking relevant again. I ran through Ragefire Chasm and I got a green drop of these leatherworking boots that I can craft that are 95 armor, and it's an upgrade to my 30 armor boots. They don't even have stats, and I'm like, oh, this is great. I just found a rare leatherworking recipe that crafts 95 armor boots with no stats, and I got it in Ragefire Chasm on my hardcore character. And it's not just professions. It's made every aspect of the game relevant again. Professions are a big one.
Yeah.
But, that's part of the reason that the hardcore challenge brought me to it so quickly, I guess. I don't know. What do you have to say on it? I'm sure I'll have tons of ideas to bounce off of.
Yeah, I think the idea that you need a goal, because my only goal right now on my shaman is, okay, I need gold, so I can afford, if the Eye of Sulphurus ever drops, I can afford to buy the hammer. That's literally my only goal in my shaman, because I mean, yes, I want Blackwing Lair loot, but then we need to be raiding Blackwing Lair, so I can't do anything. What do I do otherwise? And that's to just go get gold. And I was like, all right, but getting gold is just boring. Like, all right, and I don't even know if the eye is gonna drop. We haven't seen one yet, and like, so why would I even have 8,000 gold sitting in my bank and just go, oh, great, all right, and then just like, I don't know if it's gonna drop. If it does drop, then then all of a sudden I have like an objective to actually go farm gold so I can afford it. But well, that's what hardcore did. Is it allowed me to jump in and say like, okay, this leveling stuff, these things that I've done, and I mean I've done all these zones before, doing them again with this like intention of not dying. It adds, it's like when you drive to work. I don't know if you drive, but when you drive to work, I don't remember how many red lights there were or green lights there were. I don't remember how many times like I had to shift lanes. I don't know, because you're driving. You're kind of like I don't know. I'm listening to a podcast. I'm listening to a book. I'm not really. I mean, I'm obviously paying attention to the road, checking my blind spots. I'm being a safe driver, guys. 10 and 2. I'm telling you, but I don't know. My brain's not like locked in and loaded. And when you're doing hardcore, I'm locked in. I'm loaded. I'm aware of all the little details happening. Until I start getting tired. And then
the Plane Strider quest in the Barrens again is exciting. Like it,
yeah.
You remember every movement that you did. I completely agree with that. Death's knocking at the corner of every door. Like it can happen like that.
So for Classic WoW and the Hardcore Challenge, how far have you gone? How many characters have you gone through so far? And have they all been druids? What have you played with? What are the
Yeah. I started off with a gnome warrior, kind of to throw it back to my first character. I had high hopes, but I also knew as soon as I started the hardcore challenge, and I told everyone in stream, I said, I'm not in the right mindset. I can tell. I'm not cautious. I'm not thinking before I pull. I'm not waiting till I have 100% health. I'm just kind of going with the flow. And so I didn't really want a serious character. Tauren Druid, you've already heard me say it, is my favorite class to play. And so I wanted my Tauren Druid to be the first hardcore character. So I started off with a Gnome Warrior. That got butchered real quick. I did a Night Elf Druid just to humor the thought. I'm like, you know what? There's no way I'll get to 60 on my second character. I'll burn it on a Night Elf. And the third character, I'm like, all right, here we go. This is the one, Tauren Druid. And since I've made that first Tauren Druid, I think I've created 10 more.
Oh my god!
And it hurts my soul even saying it, man. Like, it's so uncomfortable. I can't help but laugh. But I think I'm still learning, Jaman, and I hope that I've learned my lesson up to this point. But I'm just playing carelessly. I play too fast. As Cargo says, I risk it for the biscuit all the time. I'm constantly. So here's another thing about the hardcore challenge. The end goal, the objective is to get to 60 without dying, right? And you can do that by just grinding green level mobs or doing safe quests and avoiding caves, and you, rightfully so. There's some things you just don't want to do in hardcore because there's too much of a risk of dying, and you're going to waste 20, 30, 40 hours on one single mistake. So yeah, there's merit to playing a certain way, but for some reason, maybe it's just the 23-year-old naive kid in me. I watch Melderon play, right? And I call him a boomer. I joke with him all the time. I'm like, dude, your gameplay is so slow. Like, like you're gonna make it to 60 in 2 months, and it's gonna be like, all right, Melderon made it to 60, woohoo! And I jumped into a stream. I said, hey, what's your most memorable thing you've done so far? And he just told like a 20-minute story, and he's like, how about that story I just told? I'm like, that's no fun. So whenever I'm playing, I'm constantly looking. So even in the starting zone, there's Ghost Howl in Mulgore. There's a level 12 elite rare spawn, and he drops a quest item that rewards a one-handed mace. It's a huge upgrade, and you can complete it as early as level 6. So in a hardcore setting, solo dolo, in a group, I'd probably group up with 5 people at level 6, kill Ghost Howl, get the quest objective, and I'd get this huge green mace at level 6.
Yeah.
Because I did it in a group. But now in the hardcore challenge, I'm thinking, okay, I killed him solo at level 9. That was awesome. That was a huge feat. It was one level before I got bear form, so it was still a good upgrade for the time. But then I'm like, hang on, I can kill Ghost Owl at level 8 if he spawns in the right spot. And I can get him on the road, and I can pull him to this guard, and I can deal 50% damage to him, and then I can get the guard to finish him off. I'll be level 8. I'll get this huge one-handed mace 2 levels before bear form. It's going to be a glorious moment. It's going to be another landmark in my hardcore characters 1 to 60. Whenever I hit 60, I'm going to have a highlight reel, man. I'm going to have, I killed Ghost Owl at level 8. I killed this level 19 rare spawn while I was level 16, which ended up kicking my ass. That one little goblin in the Barrens, man. That was a rough one. But I went into the mindset. I go back and I play that clip, and I committed, man. Halfway through, I'm like, yeah, and you can hear me too. I'm like, yeah, like add this one to your wall, Gray. This is gonna be great. Taxidermy this guy, ship it and clip it. You know, this one's gonna be there whenever you get to the top. And I already committed. I had him like 40%, and then I dodged and parried and missed like 4 times. And that was RIP to the highest level character, level 16 druid. So I think the mindset has a lot to do with your survivability going into hardcore.
It does say something to say that we're streaming it, and that it's not just like I'm going to see if I can get to 60. You do have an audience. You're trying to entertain people, and you also are trying to be energetic and show that like you said, you don't want to just like sit there and like, okay guys, here I go. I'm going to go fishing now. Here we go. Right. And which I've done, by the way, and you see the stream, you see the viewer count just start dropping away, and you're like, I need to do this. You guys don't understand it. Stay and watch. You guys don't get it. But yeah, I'm grabbing these long jaw mud snappers, and you guys don't understand. I need these. I need to cook them.
Oh, it's so funny, and it's funny you mentioned that, because streaming it to an audience, and we're really encouraging everyone to stream just for legitimacy and just the value that it adds to the community. Like I said, it's unbelievable. I said at the beginning of the podcast, I've talked to like 20 people that have 1, 2, 3 viewers. They never stream, and I've had conversations in their streams because of this hardcore movement. For the first time, we're going to be able to pull up Classic WoW, and you're going to see over 1, 2, 300 people streaming hardcore on a Saturday afternoon, right?
Yeah.
And just how cool. What are the possibilities? We could have a live cast of how everyone's doing on a weekly basis, and the community is gonna in this grassroots hardcore game mode that got created by the community. All of a sudden, you've got something that you're following once a week, and you go, oh man, Jaman's level 46 with this shaman. 2 weeks later, he's level 53. It's insane, right? Right. He's level 53, and then halfway through the middle of the week before the next cast, you get news in Discord, dude, Jaman died at 54, and everyone sees the clip. It's going everywhere. Like,
oh my god, yeah.
There's a buzz in the community, and so
yeah, it's crazy. It's like who's doing well, and you're like, oh look at that. Do you see that guy? He's good. Like Tactics died yesterday, and oh my god, like I was like, Tactics died. What? And I'm like looking at my screen, like, oh no, that man, he's such a poor. He died at 40, or died. Oh my god. And then I heard a priest died a couple days ago at level 40. Mm-hmm. And then, oh man, it's just crazy to see it. And then you're looking at the guys who are top. I think there's a Chandler's Trident. Yeah.
Chandler's Trident.
Hunt,
yeah, he's like
Iron Hunt.
600. Yeah, Iron Hunt. Everyone knows him right now, right? He's kind of got his name in lights at the moment because he's the highest level hardcore streamer right now. It's awesome.
Yeah,
I think it's great for the community.
It's really cool, yeah. And then the death clips, of course, are such glorious, just Twitch moments of you can just watch someone screaming or feeling. Dude, Melderon's death when he just sits back and just like you're just like, no, dude. Oh, it's so hard. And then any death you're in, anytime you see someone screaming or shouting or yelling, and oh my god,
yeah.
The one I think is gonna get me. The thing that's gonna get me is I saw your clip when you died on the in the sludge fens to the gray mob. There was a rare spawn inside the top of the platform on the druid, and you're fighting the rare spawn who's doing exploding sheeps. I don't know what these mobs do. I didn't know there was a mob up there that could have exploding sheeps. I've never, like, those are the things that are going to kill me. I'm going to go to some new place. I'm going to find some rare spawn. I don't know what this guy does. And then he's going to kill me because he's got some knockback that throws me off a cliff. Like, I don't know. Like, I just, like...
It makes the world feel dangerous again.
Yeah.
And I heard you bring this up, and that was crazy. That I was engaging in combat. I was level 16 with a 19 rare spot. I'm like, all right, this isn't so bad. As soon as I engage, he summons a bot, like a a mechanical bot next to him. So he's just whopping me for damage. And then he throws an explosive sheep. I'm like, holy shit, like this guy, I never would have known he had these abilities. And not even in a retail mindset, but even in a normal classic mindset where it doesn't matter if you die, you're over leveled. You've probably funneled gear and bags to the character that you're leveling up anyways, and you engage in that guy at a appropriate level, like 19 on 19. And it just kind of happens. And it's like you drive into work. You don't really think about it. You don't really realize it. You go, oh, he summoned a bot. Oh, he was hitting me with explosive sheep. I mean, it happened, but it wasn't that interesting. And I think that's...
Yeah.
It speaks volumes to just the awareness that you have in the world again.
Yeah, there was a rare spawn. One of the Bristlethorns, he was a priest. He had Renew, he had Bubble, and he had Casted Heal. So he had 3 heals. And I pulled him with him and one other mob. And I was like, thank God I'm a shaman. I can purge Renew, I can purge Bubble, I can interrupt heal. And like I was like, dude, that's an insane creature to have 3 heals on his character. And on anybody who's not like going to interrupt, if you're like a low level priest, you're just going to be, well, you have Dispel, I guess. I don't know exactly what you get by that level, but yeah, just thinking about some of the other classes, I'm like, I don't know if I could have killed that guy.
Yeah. One thing I'm really excited that the hardcore challenge brings is it brings relevancy to low level mobs. And Cargos has pointed this out before, but it makes those NPCs, who'd he die to? He died to some guy in a house, and he's like, I'm Stalvan.
Stalvan.
He's like, I'm always going to remember Stalvan. I'm always going to remember that goblin that kicked my ass, right? So I'm also big into just low-level mobs and intricacies. I really like the details. Like a low-level mob, can you imagine? So this is another thing, and I'm big into like game design analysis, and you got to understand, I'm a college student. I don't know what I'm going to do for my job. You know, possibly being a part of the design team for the next MMO, because I've played WoW all my life. That kind of sounds appealing. I don't know. But imagine in the starting zone, and I'll use Mulgore as an example. There's 4 types of mobs. There's wolves, there's planestriders, there's carrion birds, and there's cougars. And their name changes as they level up, and they're in different subsections of Mulgore. And it turns into prairie wolf to prairie stalker to prairie kick your ass, right? The third tier wolf, right? How neat would it be if each one of those mobs, even though they're all wolves, they progressively got more abilities. They got more armor. They did some crazier things. I really, this is an aspect, an idea of the game that's been lost in translate over time. Over 15 years, vanilla WoW has lost its flair in the starting zone. People they rush to 60, they raid, and you know the game has lost its touch, but the hardcore setting has really brought those things back to light. And so in terms of like game design analysis, I really love low level mobs abilities lists. I don't know why it's a thing. Whenever I start streaming, I was thinking about this, Shaman, because I saw you talked about it. You said how unique and helpful would that be if we had an add-on that as I engaged in combat, it showed their mobs abilities? That'd be huge. It'd be everything. Because like you said, that's what's going to end up killing you. So I think in my streams, man, I'm going to have Classic DB up, and every time I engage in a new mob, it's going to be like, okay, let's check out these abilities. And dude, Classic, if you've ever gone in these databases, they don't have half the abilities that the mobs have. Even Ragnaros, like his one ability, I don't think it's on Classic DB or Wowhead. So there's still this exploration and this newness to the world that the hardcore challenge presents, allows you to discover. So it's one thing I'm hooked on right now.
Yeah, I wonder if it has legs. I think about, in a year, are we still going to be hardcoring it? Is it once people start hitting 60 and actually getting there, is the flavor of it going to die off and people not like it? I mean, I don't think it really matters because it's fine, because then it'll just be that little nugget of this time that we did this, and we'll move on to the next thing. But the
longevity of it, right? Like how long can a hardcore mode actually stick around? And if it's, people have been playing private servers since 2008, 2009, and they're still playing private servers, kind of with the same mentality, like end game rating. They like the new fresh. Everyone loves a fresh realm. Hardcore challenge, man. For the first time in history, it almost feels like another vanilla WoW inside of vanilla. It feels like a new game.
Yeah,
it really does.
It does.
And
It does make it feel like a fresh server, which is such a nice moment.
That's what I'm saying. And everyone's always played Iron Man. They've always played these modified rules, but it's never had as much legs as the hardcore challenge has right now, just because of the ability to stream and record and to affirm, the ability to make add-ons. Like we're gonna have a hardcore server soon, and if it's a testament to how Vanilla WoW stood up over 15 years, there's no reason why hardcore wouldn't stand up for years on end.
What do you mean? What do you mean we're gonna have a hardcore server soon? You think that it's gonna that Blizzard will make a hardcore server?
I do. I do, without a doubt. I mean, I haven't seen something this big in Vanilla WoW since it launched. This almost, and the hype for Vanilla WoW was huge, right?
Yeah.
This almost feels more exciting than a 13-year buildup of Vanilla WoW. Not maybe not more exciting, but I think I'm gonna be hooked onto this longer than I would have been with the base game of Vanilla WoW coming back. I don't know. My spidey senses are tingling. It's easy. It's not some complex game mode. One death. It'll still have to be monitored, by the community a little bit. I'm sure. Like you can't. It's gonna take a ton of time to like only allow people to group in certain zones in dungeons, right? And so, or to not allow trading, right? Some of these things are still gonna have to be managed by the community. But I think we could see a hardcore server before Classic Plus, before TBC. I think that's totally plausible, and I don't know.
Yeah, so it was funny. I contacted a GM a couple weeks ago. I think it was like a week or two ago, and I said, "Hey, can you tell me if my character has died yet? Can you tell me that? Like, just tell me so I can affirm that if I'm trying to find a way to make it." And the GM responded, "Unfortunately, we don't track those stats. We didn't do that until Wrath of the Lich King. If that's something you want, you should use the suggestion box that's inside the game to suggest something that game devs will see." And they said, you'll be surprised. I don't know how true this is, but the GM said, you'd be surprised how effective that suggestion box is by saying you should add this to the game. So that's what I did. I said, hey, you guys should add to the game the ability for us to see how many deaths we have. You guys should be able to track it because I'm doing this hardcore mode. And then I plugged my Twitch in it. And I told I told whoever's reading suggestion boxes at Blizzard to come to my Twitch. But I think that honestly, anyone listening who likes this hardcore mode, if there's anyone out there, if you think there should be a hardcore server, go click on that suggestion box and submit it. Go find, go on the forums and talk about it. Because the devs have shown, the classic devs specifically have shown that they love the game and they want to support it. And if this is, and they've asked, like, what are you doing after classic? And they've always said, like, well, what does the community want? That's always been their answer. Well, what does the community want? And most people say, Burning Crusade, and I think we'll see that. But if there's no people voicing it, if there's one guy going, hardcore, and then they're not going to hear that. There's thousands of people screaming, the Burning Crusade! So I'm saying, if people like this, if this is truly the next thing, they're going to have to go out there and make their voice heard.
Yeah, and I love that you said that. Like I said, how many people have signed up for a live streaming service for the first time because they want to participate in the hardcore challenge? Literally hundreds. 100 people, maybe not hundreds, but at least 100 people. I can go to the links in the Discord chat. There's over 100 unique ones. 100 separate people have set up their live streaming service so they can participate in the hardcore challenge and make it feel legit and share it with the rest of the world. You can record it locally, and that's fine, and there's nothing wrong with that. Share the death clip, share the highlights in the Discord. That's still a possibility. But like you said, you need hundreds, thousands of people voicing their concern, their want for hardcore, man, and it's gonna happen. We're already there. What's it been, 2 weeks? I can't imagine after this first event, a month down the road, I'm gonna start making tons of content on it. Other people are already making content. Other YouTubers, Platinum WoW has made videos on it. Ebb and Flow has made videos on it. That's 60,000 subscribers, 20,000 subscribers. Everyone's live streaming it now. Stay Safe for the first time started live streaming the hardcore challenge. This thing has legs. It's coming.
I believe it does. Yeah, and I lost my brain because you started talking about Stay Safe and all that, and I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool, and I lost my question. But
so maybe while we're on the topic of hardcore, what would you add to the hardcore challenge? and I'll start off with mine. If there's anything you could add, if we got a hardcore server, right, and you kind of know the rules, the one thing I would want to add to the game, and I've already talked about it, but I really like highlight reels. I like achievements. If I could be a part of the Class Squad development team, and we get this hardcore project, and people voice their concerns for wanting achievements in the game, I would make achievements for every single class, like for Druid specifically. You get bear form at level 10. Maybe that's not an achievement, but water form at level 14. Just because you're doing it, you're having to travel to some higher level places, like the sludge fin area. I think it's like level 14, 15, 16 mobs. So it's dangerous to get water form at 14. And you got to take the Zeppelin. That's not so bad. But I would add achievements in the game for each class, just to distinguish yourself from 160 to another. It'd almost be like a feat of strength. And then if you're level 15 and you get water form, well, you don't get the achievement. Who cares? But there's so much potential. That's one thing I would add to the hardcore challenge if I could.
Yeah, make it even harder. So there's almost a hardcore, right? You have to this guy had 60, but did he get all his class quests done at the minimum possible level, or did he run RFC at level 10? No,
right?
Like, all right.
See, that's the kind of stuff I would want to track, though. I totally.
I don't know. That sounds even worse to me. That sounds like I'd be annoyed now because I'm level 60. And I'm like, and everyone's like, well, you got 60, but you don't have all the achievements. And I'd be like, God damn it. Like, now I have to, like, that'd be way worse. I don't even want that. Because then that's like I feel like 60 is achievable. It's just annoying and a grind. And it's a journey to get there. But like, okay, now I'm just making it purposefully hard on myself. It's almost like the Iron Man challenge now, where you're like, okay, you did it, but did you do it with only whites? And you're like, oh God, no talents. And you're like, did you play with your feet? No, okay.
So you like hardcore where it is right now?
I like it where it is. If I could change something, I would say, like force the game so you can only go into an instance once. They have the 1 hour cooldown. You've entered too many instances. Just change that to you've entered this instance once. You can't enter again. But that would suck if you stepped in, stepped out, and then tried to step in again, and it was like, nope. Like, I guess that would be the same as this ID. It'd be fine. But yeah, it's some interesting stuff. I think it's good as it is, and I think it'll be something that evolves over time. So I don't think there's anything you can call right now. It's like, oh, this would be perfect. This would be better. This would be worse.
Oh yeah, it's so early, like I said, and I'm surprised at how soon all this stuff is happening.
Mm-hmm. I'm amazed at the fervor of which people are arguing on the Discord server. There's a Discord, by the way. And like the people saying like this is the rule change. Some people are like, no, the original rules are this. And I'm like, guys, it's been like a week, 2 weeks. Like no, the original rules stated that then and in the spirit of the original rules, and you're like, wait, but like the spirit of the original rules were written yesterday, and now you're like, no, it's like these were written by the founders. You guys don't remember that they had intent? Do you guys know what the founders' intent were? And you're like, okay, what the hell? I don't know.
Yeah, man. People are taking this thing seriously. It's the next big thing.
So
it is.
Let's talk about the event here coming up. And by the time people listen to this, if you're not listening live on Twitch, but if you're listening to the Spotify, if you're listening through whatever podcasting service you're listening to, there's an event that's coming up on the 29th of February, so it's probably already passed if you're listening. But it's going to be a hardcore challenge. And what are your plans? I thought when I saw you dying so much a lot, and I mean this in the best of ways, I thought you were practicing for the 29th, and you were saying like, oh, like I was like, dude, this guy's riding the razor's edge. He's trying to practice for the 29th. He's trying to get his times down from 1 to 10. He's like focused at that's all he cares about, the 29th event. He doesn't care about getting to 60. He cares about, prepping for that 12-hour stream. Like that's what I was like. So I don't know if that's true, but what is your plans for this 29th?
Yeah. Coincidentally, the way it's worked out, 2 Saturdays in a row, man. I had my hopes and dreams crushed. Honestly, morale at the lowest it's been on a Saturday weekend where I'm supposed to be gaming, having fun. I'm not in class. I'm not working. I should be enjoying my time. 2 Saturdays in a row, I re-rolled a druid 4 times. And then, in between weekends, I'd lost my druid. So it's the next weekend, I rolled druids again. The hardcore mode is so rough. I honestly had to take a couple days off. It was that brutal. But incidentally, me dying so many times, and I was talking about this earlier, getting in the hardcore mindset, you really have to, you got to buckle down and pay attention. If you're streaming, you're interacting with chat, the world is so brutal. It's so unforgiving. Just on single 1-to-1 combat. I mean, if you get into combat with something 2-3 levels higher than you solo and you don't pull anything, a couple bad misses and parries, and they crit you 2 or 3 times, like, it's over. The game is so unforgiving. It requires this you have to transcend into this special mindset if you're going to play hardcore. But yeah, incidentally, I've rolled 10, 12 characters at this point. Mm-hmm. They're all druids. On the 29th, I've gotten some really good freaking practice at leveling Mulgore 1 to 10 and and just managing my mana, knowing exactly what mobs to kill, my rotation at a low level. And you really can min-max, how you front load all your mana, your movement, and you get rewarded for moving and positioning yourself in the right spot.
Yeah.
With just the last MP5 tick, and so you're ready to front load all your mana again and just keep grinding, right? So yeah, I'm feeling good about the 12-hour event, considering I've leveled 12 druids in 2 weeks. I'm feeling really good about that.
Have any of your slash plays made it to 12 hours?
I think the level 16 was right at 10, so no.
Oh,
so
God.
No,
okay.
It's painful.
All
so
right.
yeah, the event. I haven't even survived 12 hours yet. And this last Saturday was a mock run, and I died 3 times in a row. I was losing my mind.
Oh, wow. So how do you feel about druids as a class? Because as shaman, I was actually, I think shamans, when I was going into it, before I rolled a shaman, I had rolled a hunter, and I was like, hunters, dude, this is it. Hunters is a class. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, I died on hunter, and I was like, oh, this sucks. And they were like, do a shaman. And I was like, okay, I'll do a shaman. Like, I'm Jamin the shaman. Like, that's what I'm known. Like, I'll do it, but I don't think I'm going to get very far. And then all of a sudden now, and maybe by the time you guys, I'm sure by the time I'm dead already, and I've cried. But the shaman's doing really well, and I was actually surprised by it. How do you feel about druids? How do they rank up in this? If you had to tier list the classes, where does a druid line up in this hardcore mode?
Yeah, druid. Everybody says druid 1 to 10 is painful, and I think they're talking in terms of just grinding speed. They level slower than all the other classes, and all the other classes are different. 1 to 10. 1 to 20, 1 to 30, and then 30 to 60. I hear shamans, like, they almost get a little bit less powerful after level 30, right?
Yeah.
And they're really powerful in the early levels. How does druid scale up? So I've only hit level 16 in the hardcore challenge to date, and bear form is a big milestone. Once you get 1 to 10 and you get bear form, you kind of get on the same tier level as maybe warriors, grinding potential. You'll never touch hunters. And shamans still, I think, kind of run away in terms of grinding potential at the early levels. But how does druid scale in hardcore survivability from 1 to 60? I've only made it to level 16. I cannot wait until I hit level 21 and I've got 30% movement speed in cat form. Cheetah form at level 30. I remember leveling up in Classic this first time around, not even in a hardcore setting. I was still trying to be quick, and I didn't want to die too many times. I can't tell you how many times Cheetah form saved my life, like levels 30 to 60. I pull 2 or 3 extra mobs, I shapeshift a couple times, get out of roots, and run away in Cheetah speed. So I think once you hit level 30 on Druid, I mean, it turns into easy mode, survivability, under the hardcore constraints, the things that kill you, that get you in trouble. Hardcore Druid really gets a power spike past level 30.
When do you get Dire Bear form?
I think level 40.
Yep. Level 40?
So
okay, so 30 to 40. Once you start getting past 30, you're really cranking it up. And then 40, you're like, I'm alive. I'm fine. I got Dire Bear form.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to level Druid 1 to 60 and then level a couple other classes and compare the experiences. Because I don't know too much outside of Druid in a hardcore setting right now. It's fun watching other people play. I would say best chances to get to level 60 if we're ranking all the classes. I would say Druid is the easiest. I'm serious. We haven't seen it yet. Nobody's streaming a Druid level 30 plus. Hopefully I'll be the next one. But you're really going to see the potential of survivability on a Druid in the later levels. Pet classes maybe would go right under Druid for me just because they've got cannon fodder. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you got Warriors and Rogues. They've got no mana bar. one less resource to pull from. Rogues at least have sprint and a couple talent points that really help you for survivability, getting out of a sticky situation. Warrior, absolutely, you're a god if you get to 60 on a warrior, and you've got a VOD to prove it for sure. I don't know where the other classes line up though. I'm interested to see, and it depends on how you're ranking these guys. Is it purely survivability 1 to 60? Yeah, Druid gets my vote. Is it in terms of speed? Well, then you look at the hunters and the shamans in a 12-hour time gated event. Yeah, hunters, shamans. I don't know about any other class lower level.
Yeah.
How do the other class? How do you rank the classes?
Yeah, I gotta imagine 1 to 1, like for 12 hours, shaman is gonna be really strong for the first 12 hours. Hunter's gonna be really strong. I mean, hunter's gonna be really strong no matter what if you're going for speed and survivability.
Right.
Just for playing it, I don't know. Everyone keeps. I know Cargos has said paladin before. It's like undying, and my issue is I never played a paladin because I never get actually over to the alliance side. But yeah, I actually haven't casted a self heal for like 30 levels. I haven't casted a heal. I'm only 29 right now, but I haven't casted a heal since I was like level. I want to say like level 9. I haven't casted
on your shaman.
Yeah, a healing wave or a lesser healing wave. Like I don't use it because it costs mana, so I'll just bandage myself or I'll just potion.
Right.
I guess actually, I really should. I was looking at. If I'm thinking back now, I probably had some moments I could have just healed myself instead of like fighting it out and popping a potion. But yeah, like, I just haven't casted those. So I think people overvalue self-healing for classes. I think people are saying self-healing is really, really strong, and like classes with self-healing.
That's an unpopular opinion, yeah.
Classes with self-healing are, the way to win. And I don't think that's true. I think there's so many options to self-heal if you have items like really sticky glue. It's so I just throw it down, I throw it on someone, I step away, I bandage. And then
really sticky glue. One thing I didn't realize, and I was watching Cargo stream a little bit, and I saw him use really sticky glue. I probably watched him 2 days in a row. I saw him use it like 3 times. I'm like, yo, that's 3 times I would have died, or you may have possibly died if you didn't have sticky glue. You get 10 sticky glue from that reward, and in a hardcore setting, man, that's the difference between life and death. That's the difference. Between saving 20 hours worth of playtime is 10 uses of really sticky glue.
Yeah, I look at it, and every time I look at it and I see how many charges are left, I think, oh god, like once I'm out of that means I'm out. I'm done. Like that.
Right.
Yeah.
I saw a clip somebody using. It was a target dummy, but it was a love fool, so it was a seasonal target dummy. That's another thing I really like about the rules at the moment is that they're very loose. As long as you're not doing anything like having higher levels boost you with buffs, and you've got max level fortitude, intellect, mark of the wild, at level 10, you've got these high level characters just buffing you constantly. As long as you're not exploiting things like that, I like the seasonal events. I like the Dark Moon Fair buffs. I like the Oni and Rend buff. I really like these things being a part of the hardcore challenge. Dude, I've seen so many additional death clips with the Oni buff on, with Rend on. You get this false sense of security. I saw this guy use a love fool. It's like a target dummy, but I think it's a seasonal thing. But in terms of talking about the sticky glue, the hardcore challenge has just made so many small, minute, aspects of the game completely relevant again. Yeah. Sticky glue is like the most overpowered thing you can do. So
I actually just thought about it as I'm talking to you. On Jaman, my main level 60, I have 10 stacks of really sticky glue in my bank. It's one of those things that I've never used, but I can't sell it because it's really important. It's like one of those right. So when you play a regular RPG, and it's just blowing my mind, I'm just realizing some of the implications of hardcore in that you play a regular RPG and you collect potions, say Skyrim, or you collect items and you're like, oh, these are going to be really important for when I'm in a sticky situation, and then you never use them. You just keep filling your bags. You're like, no, this is not important enough of a situation. This is not important enough. This moment right now this is not a good enough moment to use my consumables. I'm just going to keep, and you have thousands of potions in your bags and you're like, oh, I can't use these. This is not important. I can just die anyway and run back. In hardcore, you don't get that luxury of just hoarding all of your consumables. You have to constantly use them, right. Which is actually really blowing my mind a little bit.
Dude, I love it. I love that aspect of hardcore that it's making me. I'm the same way as you. Like I'd play RTS games, Age of Empires 2, and I always had a bad habit of not using all my resources. Maybe that's why I never played League of Legends or Dota or some of these fast RTS games. I really, it was hard for me to get into the mindset of use all the resources that you have right now to advance your chances at winning, this match or this moment, or increasing your chances of survivability. Yeah, it's oh my goodness, that's a staple to video games in general, is just using your resources at hand, right? And yeah, sorry, I guess I'm just realizing what you just said, because it kind of blows my mind too.
Yeah. Using all these potions, using bandages, using things that you've like. Oh, I found potions, like lesser healing potions. Like, oh no, I don't use that. I'll just use a lesser healing wave. And I'm like, I should use the potion. I should use anything I can. All my tools that are available to do that. Yeah, and then it's the same thing. You were talking about League of Legends and stuff, and some of the you're playing a game. And you have resources, and you have a moment in the game that you're like, let me try right now to get an advantage. Let me try right now to get an advantage. So you spend some resources or whatever you have to try to do that. And then if you fail, the other team might get an advantage over you now because you've spent that. Now you have to recover from your failure. It's similar in this hardcore. If you use all your really sticky glue early, you're screwed later. So it's like you don't want to use it, but you got to use it too. Because if you don't use it, then you're dead. So I don't know. We can sing the praises of hardcore. I think we could go on for hours, honestly, and just keep talking about hardcore and how great it is. I'm really excited to see the 29th and see who gets the highest and see how they play, because I just want to watch that hunter, whoever it is. Or
there's gonna be a 24 hunter at the end of it, maybe 25. My highest level bid would be 24. I'm hoping to break 20, man. If I can break 20 on a druid, I'm gonna be
12 hours. Okay.
Myself. If I can survive for 12 hours, I'll be feeling pretty good about myself.
Yeah. I personally won't be there. I wish I could, but I got other things I'm doing that weekend that were pre-planned, and now I have to, can't call them off. But I can't wait to see to just participate in this community, because the community is going to be there, and I can just live vicariously through them. So that's going to be great.
Yeah.
We got a question in chat that happened, so we're streaming this live on Twitch right now for anyone listening late. But King Naveed asked what your favorite druid form is.
I'm actually, oh man, it's funny you bring that up. I did an interview at BlizzCon with Def Camp and Melderon. They were doing interviews, and we had a little bit to drink. We were in California. And I gave this interview, and I'm so mad at my answer, because Melderon asked me, "Why do you play Druid? What's so appealing about the class? Why do you choose to play that character or that class?" And I told him, first thing that came to my head, and I'm so pissed off that I gave this crappy answer. I think I said something along the lines of, "I can swim." Like, that's why I play Druid, because I can swim. It was not my proudest moment. It's a meme in our raid right now. But yeah, water form has to be my favorite form, just because of that whole experience.
Yeah, actually, it's funny because I remember leveling up herbalism and seeing Stranglekelp and being like, if only I was a druid, I could get so much money right now, and I could go swim and grab Stranglekelp. And now, if I was like to look at the auction house, Stranglekelp goes for like a silver, maybe. So like, even if I was a druid swimming, I'd be like, oh great, I got Stranglekelp. You can fish it up and like it comes up in nets, like it's just coming up out of the water. But yeah, it's interesting.
Def Camp just toasted you, and everybody came in. It's kind of where I got the name.
Holy cow! There we go.
It's kind of where I got the dub name Blaze4Days. Man, I just told the story. About Blaze4Days. Water form. I can swim. That's terrible. Oh, I was so mad at that response, that answer I gave in that interview. But yeah, water form is probably my favorite form in Druid right now.
Awesome. Okay, so water form's the Druid form. All right.
Well, and I really like I just like how unique it is. I wish that water form was more useful. Whenever I was thinking about Classic coming out, I wanted to make highlight videos of me doing these PvP montages, and I'm right next to water, or I'm in Stranglethorn Vale, and I'm about to die, and I jump in the water, and I go into water form. And I wish that these intricate, aspects of the game were more relevant. You hardly ever run into that situation. And I think mobs, they don't go slower in water, so it wouldn't even pertain to that situation. But I like small little unique things. I like Nature's Grasp on druids. What other? I like Tame Beast or whatever the hell it's called. I can't think of it right now.
Soothe Beast?
Is
it Soothe Beast?
Yeah, Soothe Beast. Yeah, or that might be the hunter one. Anyways, I like the abilities on classes that aren't normally used.
Yeah, Hibernation.
Yeah, Hibernate. That's what it is.
Okay, Hibernate. Got it. Yeah. It's awesome. I mean, it's really cool. It is really cool to see some of the lesser used things. As a shaman, Wind Fury is not lesser used, but all my totems, like Stoneclaw Totem, this hardcore challenge made Stoneclaw Totem great again. Like I don't know how many times I actually cast Stoneclaw leveling up before, but now I use it like I pull 2 mobs, Stoneclaw Totem, like all right, and that's it. Like it's down and like it tanks for me forever. It's just great. I don't know. It's just really cool.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you on that. We've been talking about hardcore this whole stream.
Yeah, it's just it's exciting. So when did you start streaming? When did you start making YouTube content? That's a good question that I ask a lot of people.
Yeah. So I think I've got like 4,000 subs on YouTube right now. Maybe 400 or 500 followers on Twitch. So I'm still really green. But I've been around for about a year now, and I started making YouTube content. It was December of 2019. Wait, No. December of 2018 is whenever we started. I started making YouTube content. It was really in anticipation for Vanilla WoW. I was so excited about it. Guys, I wouldn't be a YouTuber if it wasn't for the launch of Vanilla WoW. And I mentioned earlier I was making profession videos with base profession recipes. I was making guide videos, right? So, stupid videos that nobody wants to watch, nobody would want to see, nobody wants to make unless the hype of Vanilla WoW is in the making for 12, 13 years and it's coming back, right?
Yeah.
So, and I wanted to play Vanilla WoW so bad. I was like, Vanilla WoW's coming out less than a year after I graduate. In less than a year, I'm going to be married. If I want to be able to fulfill my dream, and I started playing Vanilla WoW since I was in 3rd grade, right? And I never looked back. I've never played any other game. Maybe I need to monetize this somehow. If it could be my job, that would be the dream. And so I started making YouTube content. And I pumped out like 30 videos in like 45 days. It was absolutely insane. Wow. Like I had the bug. I've never felt so motivated in my life because it was like, okay, you either make it and you get to play Classic WoW, or you don't make it and you don't get to play Vanilla, right? And so that was kind of the drive and the motivation towards getting into content creation. As crazy as that sounds.
Yeah, no, I totally feel that bug because I honestly was playing Classic WoW, I think I was playing Heroes of the Storm at the time before I started streaming. And I was like, dude, I play this so much. I play this game so much. I got to do something to make this worth it. I got to do something to make this like actually a reason. People are like, all right, what are you doing over there? And I'm like, oh, no, I'm playing Heroes of the Storm. And I'm like, why? Like, because it's really fun. And I'm like, oh, but like I actually need like to do something with this. And so, and I used to do World of Warcraft stuff like 10 years ago. I used to make videos and guides and all that. And then I stopped and I started streaming like a year or two ago, and I started the Heroes of the Storm stuff, and I got, so just that bug, that feeling that you need to make something, to make it worth it. So this is like, and I talked to Egregious a long time ago, and he said to me, I've started making stuff because there's a level of mastery that comes with the ability to tell someone how to do something or teach someone how to play the game.
Wow.
You can't truly master something until you can actually vocalize how you're doing it. So you can say like I know how to drive a car, but until you can vocalize how do you shift in a manual car and vocalize the exact how to do it in a succinct way that can explain it, you're like, I actually have to think about it. Like it's not just a physical thing, because if you just drive a manual, most people just do it by feeling. But then you try to explain it, you're like, and then you got to like step on the clutch and you shift and you let the clutch go, and then there's like a spinning wheel and you got to like connect it. Like it's not as simple as just like these mechanical things. You have to actually feel it and you have to know the feeling of it. But yeah, it just it's one of these
I've never thought about content creation in that light, and it's funny. How old is Egregious? Maybe 35. I don't know how old the guy is, but it's I've never heard somebody say they started making content because there's this level of mastery to achieve. There's something else. So that's another thing. Speaking of hardcore, I want to be level 60 so I can get some respect on my name, man. I've killed 12 druids up to this point. Highest level's level 16. GraysforDays is streaming it. He's making videos on it. He's talking about hardcore. Okay, what's your highest level, Grays? Oh, level 16. You know, and it's like, there's huge incentives for me to do well in this hardcore challenge, right?
Yeah.
And I guess you could say the same thing about content creation and in the way you make content as well. I could just, you know, crap out a bunch of poopy content, you know, like some people do. There's Cargos always says this, and he's a content creator, so I think it's relevant. There's different levels of success. There's different measurements of growth. So even though somebody got 10, 20, 30,000, you know, follows in a month, it doesn't directly translate to the same amount of growth if you compare, you know, maybe your 5,000 following growth in a month compared to their 20, 30,000. You may have gained more in your 5,000.
You're talking about relative growth. So if they have 100,000 followers and they make 20,000, you're like, oh, okay, 20,000 more. That's huge. But if I have 1,000 followers and I make 5,000, I just 500% increase to my followers versus they only made a 20% increase. Yeah,
or if your content is just deep or you're highly respected because of the content that you create, but it doesn't necessarily get all the clicks and the views. Now, you got to play the name of the game. You got to go with the system. If you're going to survive in this world, you've got to manipulate it like that. Sorry, you know, you can live in this utopia world where, oh, I'm going to make this content I'm super interested in. I'm going to spend tons of time on it. It's going to be the best guide ever created. At the end of the day, it got 500 views. It doesn't matter. So you also have to be mindful.
Yeah, well, that's true if your goals are to get views. If your goal is to make a guide that 10 people want to watch, then you've made your goal and you've found the 10 people that you really connect with. And that's also really something that I found through streaming through YouTube and stuff, that some people just like, I've made some garbage videos that I'm just like, I don't know if anyone wants to watch this. And I put it out and then someone watches it and they're like, I love this. And I'm like, you and 12 other people love that. So it's really, it is interesting. And not that I those are bad. I enjoyed making those videos and all that, but yeah, it depends on your goals and all that. It's funny. I remember listening to a podcast. I'm trying to remember where it was, but there was an interviewer or interviewee who said there are measurements to life and things you have to work on, and this is all like just life goals basically. In that, and we're talking about World of Warcraft now. We're talking about life goals, but like success, happiness, money. Those are all three separate, distinct utilities that you work on. So if you want to be successful, you have to work at it. If you want to be happy, you have to work at it. Those don't go hand in hand. Success and happiness are not binary. They don't go together. Money, success, and happiness. Again, three separate entities. You have to work on all three of those separately if you want to work on them at all. And so I just think, it's really, it's really, I thought that was really deep and really informative as a lifestyle idea, and thinking about that these are not things that you just like, you don't just become successful and that doesn't mean money. That doesn't mean happiness. Those are all separate.
Yeah. So content creation, it really has just opened my world up to, I've been introduced to a world I never thought I would have seen because of content creation. The networking is unbelievable. The simple life skills I've learned from Def Camp Meltdown, Cargos, the way they conduct themselves in a content creation standpoint. Def Camp and Meltdown, how they conduct their raid in the raid that I'm main tanking in, right? And they're the raid leaders, the way they make decisions. Because of content creation is the reason I've come and to know these guys and been connected with them. And like I said, how I conduct myself in a raiding environment, I've learned skills there. I would have done things, I would have kicked people to the curb. I would have said, hey, we're going this direction if it was up to me. But because I had Def Camp and Meltdown, who maybe they have some years on me, they've got to be more wise than me, right? I've learned so much from them. Cargo's in terms of content creation and collaboration and how he does his things. I've learned a lot from that guy, and so content creation is really, it's kind of become my world in the last year, and I didn't realize it would. And I'm all, I'm graduating in May. I'm getting married in May. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do. Do I really want to go work in IT? Not really. I will if I have to, but
Yeah.
content creation has given me this opportunity that is still there, and I'm still trying to grab it. But it's been a neat experience. I wouldn't change it.
I think the greatest thing about just making stuff and it's coming from, again, I'm a nobody. I'm really honestly I'm a nobody. But to
Same.
making stuff, the meeting people that like this hardcore challenge, like I go to work, I talk to people, and I'm like, I don't even try to explain it. You don't even try to explain. I'm playing World of Warcraft, but I'm also playing hardcore, and I'm making it as hard as possible for myself, and I'm streaming it to people, and there's people watching it. There's all these people, and like they're like, well, I don't what is World of Warcraft? And you're like, okay, never mind. Let's go to something else. But like. The ability to connect with people across the world has been incredible. For especially the hardcore specifically right now, how much it's connected. I mean, I have people from the United Kingdom watching, people from Germany, people from Sweden, people from across the nation, people in Oregon, people and I'm in Virginia. Like, I'm connecting with all these people, like all over the place, and you're just like, what the, like, how, like this is an unseen, like, this moment right now. This internet enough, streaming is now a thing. YouTube is a thing. You can throw yourself out there, and people can find you. People from Sweden can find me. Could you imagine being in the dark ages and you're like, I love playing hardcore, whatever chess. Like whatever they were playing, whatever game it was, they were like, I love playing this. And one guy, everyone's who cares what that guy is like? I'm telling you, it's so great. It's such a great game. And like all the people around him would be like, go away. But if you could like go all the way back and send it out to the some guy, Native American kid that was all over there, and he's playing hardcore or whatever they were playing. Like, you can actually connect now. It's insane to me that this all exists, and there's no question there. I'm just spouting off, and I'm just excited, and yeah.
Same. Yeah.
Okay, man. Well, I think we've been going for about an hour and 15 minutes now, and I think it's a good time to wrap it up. Where can we find you online? On YouTube, on Twitch, what is the exact handles we're looking for? Shout yourself out.
Yeah. Right now I'm on YouTube and Twitch. I've got an Instagram. It's not that serious, but it's just GraysforDays, one word. It's spelled the right way, GRAYS, FORDAYS, one word. You can find me at YouTube and Twitch. Thanks for having me on the show, John. It is a blast. Like I said, I haven't formally met you or talked to you before this podcast, but because we've been talking to each other, in stream. You'll talk to me when I'm, commenting in your chat, and I'll talk to you when you're commenting in my chat.
Yeah,
it's been cool getting to know you, and doing this podcast together was great. And I'm hoping that we have these same experiences with the hundreds of other people playing hardcore, and I already am. I DM people left and right that I never would have ran into if it wasn't for this. But yeah, it's been an insane 2 weeks, and I can't wait to see, where hardcore specifically goes, where it takes the vanilla WoW community, the classic WoW community. I think it's gonna be good.
Me too. I'm very excited. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jhaman. It was good.